Hey, how you guys doing? My name is Joe, and I'm with Our Cozy Shop. I wanted to explain why I designed my entire shop around the CNC, more importantly, the CNC table that I built. I've always been let down a little bit by the limitations of the CNC and on the projects that you can actually build with it. You know, you spend $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 on a CNC, the bits and all of the things that are required to go with it. And basically you're stuck with 2.5, instead of 3D capability. So I figured there had to be a better way. So I went and I started doing my own research, and I was looking and I couldn't find anything. So I incorporated the help of Grok, ChatGPT, Claude Code, and we went about searching and scouring the internet and every available place we could to see if we could find a solution for this. First, they all come back and said, well, this has never been done before, what you're wanting to do. And I'm like, well, can you help me do it? And all three of them, to include my Hermes agent, River, she also said, yeah, we can help you do this. This is feasible. Let's start designing. So I fired up Fusion 360 and we started designing. Now, I should preface, when I was doing the research and then I had the AIs doing the research also, we basically, all four of us, actually five of us if you count River, came up with the same conclusion. There was only one machine that would allow me to do this without massive engineering skills. And that one machine is the OneFinity. Now, the reason the OneFinity will allow me to do this is because the OneFinity is balanced on 4 points of contact on each corner. There's no supports in the middle, and it's extremely rigid. So I came up with that. And then when I had the AIs also tell me the same thing, then I started looking at why. And I found out why. And like I said, the reason is because it's supported on 4 points of contact. And as long as those 4 posts that it's set on, doesn't matter what it is, if they're rigid, that machine is extremely rigid. It needs nothing else. And then I also was doing an inventory of things I had around the shop. And I noticed that I had 4 progressive automation LG12 lifting columns. And I started thinking to myself, well, hold up now. I've got the lifting capability. The machine sets on 4 points of contact. I just happen to have 4 columns. And so I started going down the design route of just lifting the machine. And then I got to thinking, well, what if somebody doesn't have 4 progressive automation columns? How can they accomplish this? And then I started asking the AIs, and we came up with some different scenarios. I'm going to give you those scenarios and those design ideas today. Now, I went ahead and used the columns, but I used the columns on my bed. And I secured the 4 posts, and my bed just goes up and down, and I've only got it going up and down and giving me 22 inches of Z height clearance because I didn't really need any. But, you can do whatever you think you need if you want. I just didn't need it, so that's what I stopped at. And plus, in today's capabilities, you're limited by the bits that you can get. Right now, the longest bit I can get is an Amana bit, and it's 6 inches long. Then I use the adapter for it, or the extender for it, and basically it's 8 inches. You couple that with the 6-inch travel the OneFinity already has, and basically you got 14 inches. But, if you're going to do 2-sided stuff, it just helps to have that extra clearance and everything. So that's why I did it. But you can use a scissor jack. You can get a heavy duty scissor jack make an extremely good way of raising your bed, make your bed extremely solid. You'll see that I used linear rails on one side, and that's just to keep my bed, even though I don't think it would have. I just eliminated it, so I don't ever have to worry about it from ever moving, tweaking. And you can do that and use a scissor jack, or you can use one of these lift tables, and it'll do the same thing. You just have to engineer your bed, so therefore it's getting no racking or torquing or anything. But any of those are good. You can literally go down and get $100 heavy duty scissor jack that'll lift it, 1,000 pounds or whatever. Design your bed, and out of some tubing, steel tubing, it'll lift just fine. And if you put the linear rails on the side and have them just go, it'll just travel straight up and down. No racking, no torquing, no nothing. Extremely simple way of doing it. But I just wanted you to let you know that there are multiple ways to do it. And you can still, if you want, take these progressive automation columns and put them underneath each corner of the machine and just lift the machine up and have a static bed. And that'll work just fine too, because I've done the testing on it and seeing if it was going to torque or rack or anything. And these columns don't rack. Even fully extended, you're not going to lose any rigidity. Okay, so, but I just like the bed going up and down. That's the only thing about it. Okay, and then you can also do it with linear rails and ball screws driven by a stepper motor, a closed loop stepper motor, and tie that right back into your controller. Now, I got lucky. I didn't know it at the time, but the progressive automation LG12s are designed to tie into a controller, and I happen to have one that they have a lot of documentation on, which is the Masso G3. And so that's what my OneFinity CNC came with, which I love. And it ties right in there, and it'll control the height and everything of your bench or your table. So those are a couple ways to do it. Now, I made mine out of steel, and it made it extremely rigid. Nothing's moving this thing. You can make them out of wood. You might lose a little rigidity with the wood, but you can use steel and encase it in wood if you just like that appearance, which I'll show you one that I did like that. And then you can use extruded aluminum, which really works well if you're going to do the ball screw method of just raising, and everything, because all of the holes, it's just easier to attach things to extruded aluminum, and you can make extruded aluminum extremely rigid and not lose any. Another thing, and one of the reasons that I designed this table was because I have all of these tools. And if you watch YouTube channels, you see everybody with this Festool Domino, and I refuse to buy one because I have 4 or 5 different routers. I have a router table with a Triton in it, and that thing's a beast. I have palm routers. You can make jigs to do, to do this stuff, and doing mortise and tenon stuff. But I'm thinking, okay, well, I've spent $6,000-7,000 on this machine over here. Surely it can do it. And it can, as is, but your boards can only be so big. In other words, you can only have, a 5-inch board and put it in a holding area, and it can do it. But then you're gluing up a lot of extra boards and this and the other, where I have an Oliver planer, and it'll do 15-inch boards. So I like to stick around 14 inches, give myself a little leeway. And that way, when I'm doing coffee tables or something like that, are a little big, then I have less seams you have, the less chances something's going to go wrong. So I've made this, and the other thing about the OneFinity, as long as it's supported on those four corners, the front and back is free and clear. There is infinity from the front to the back. And as long as you make your vertical hold down where you have the ability to set a piece of wood there and do it, you're good to go. And so therefore, I can set mine in there, and because I use Fusion 360 and its parametric design capability, I simply tell it how thick the wood is, what size domino I want, how many I want, and it will cut them out before you can lay out your Festool dominoes. Okay? Before you ever get the pencil marks on all of your marks and everything on your Festool domino, I'm already done. So I did that just because I didn't want to spend the $1,500 on a machine that's a one-trick pony. Even though I basically spent $6,000 on a machine, about 7 or 8 times you get the spindle and you get all your bits and everything on a machine that's almost a one-trick pony, but you can do a lot more with it. So anyway, you'll see the design I made with the pass-through. Now, one of the things that did help me with that is I had some Fergelli synchronous linear actuators, and all of them were like 800 pounds rated holding power. And so that helped me design it. So when I had the machine cut out the leaf on it, I backed it off from the right side about a foot, and I had the machine cut that out. That way it was machine referenced. So when I put it back in there, the machine, I might not have thought it was straight, but the machine thought it was straight. And that's the only thing that matters. And so now when I hit my WCS, my work coordinate system of 59, it goes right over to the corner to where I've got it programmed to be. And it's just waiting to either do joinery, dominoes, whatever. It can even flatten a board if you've got it. There's easier ways to do it, but I'm just saying it can. So what I've accomplished with this is 3 main goals that I wanted. I increased my Z height clearance. That gives me the possibility to do a lot larger projects than just flat stuff, basically. All right. I was able to do the pass-through, which eliminated my need my need to go out and buy another piece of equipment. And basically, I built this machine for around this table for around $1,500, and it does all of that and then some. Because keep in mind, you're not going to lose any of the current capabilities of the machine. All right, OneFinity, endless possibilities. That is until you tie one down to and this goes for any of the machines. Oh, I forgot to tell you. The reason I didn't check, the reason I couldn't figure out how to use any of the other machines is because they're not designed to stand on their own. They're designed to have cross members like the Avid, like the Shapeoko, like the Altmill. They tie into cross members that prevent you from, number one, raising or lowering the machine or the bed. But more importantly, they absolutely will not give you free and clear access for pass-through so that you can do whatever length board you want. Okay? Just by tiling or however you come up with. So anyway, that's why I didn't choose the other ones. And that's why the OneFinity, other than the 4 points of contact, rules when it comes to this over the other machines. Now, I had the AIs look at every single solitary hobbyist machine on the internet or for sale from anywhere. and they could not find one built the same way the OneFinity is, with the same capabilities the OneFinity give you. Now, I personally own the OneFinity Elite Forman, so but all of their machines are designed and engineered the same way. So, you know, you take that for what it is. So the long story short, oh, I'm supposed to ask you to subscribe. Oh, anyway, please subscribe. This is a new channel. I think I've only got 1 or 2 subscribers, and I think those are both family members, my wife and my mom, I think. So, anyway. So I'm Joe, and I'm with Our Cozy Shop. And I hope you have a really, really good day. Thank you for watching this video.